Chapter 22. Shooting Instructor. Robert Brown, 45. 1983. New York, New York. They fidgeted. Everyone's eyes kept looking at the door. Robert Brown squirmed in his seat. He could feel the eyes of the other partners on him and was not able to meet theirs. He focused on the legal pad in front of him, the pens ready to take notes. When they heard the door opening, every head turned to watch the man enter the room. The senior partner carefully locked the boardroom door before walking to the head of the table. All eyes were on the manila envelope in his hand. As he opened and read the contents to the partners, everyone kept meticulous notes on the instructions. Whether they were actively involved in passing these financial instructions to the board that ran the Hamman Company or not, the people there hung on every word. If the information in this letter, written 3 years before, turned out to be as prophetic as the last set of instructions, fortunes were in the offering. Many of them did not understand what the letter spoke of, but they were going to find out. No one in the room had ever heard of ARPANET. The talk of internet service providers, IP addresses, servers, and routers meant nothing to them, but they would be on the phone as soon as they left the room researching these terms and what they might mean. When he had come to the end, a second inner envelope was passed down the table to Robert Brown, sitting at the end of the table. Robert felt like a plant withering in the sun under their gaze. Again, he passed back the cover letter to the partners and then sat back to read the documents entrusted to him. Eyes flitted toward him as they wondered what was contained in these documents. If it was anything like what was being read aloud, they desperately wanted to know its contents. Every year, he seemed to disappear for months on end, and no one knew where he went or why. Some of them thought about having him followed, but none wanted to risk the consequences. The only thing that prevented a rebellion was the lack of any sign of him prospering more than the rest of them from this information he was privy to. In fact, he seemed less than enthused, sometimes even depressed, by what he read. Robert stared at the papers in front of him. Was the old man serious? The instruction in the letters were becoming more and more outrageous. Why would he want such a thing? Was it even legal? How was he expected to arrange something like that? In the meantime, more pressing questions, asking for clarifications on the instructions and the spelling of terms, occupied the rest of the partners. They could not leave the room until he had finished reading his instructions. He began to make notes of what he would need to do before returning the instructions to the envelope to be disposed of by the senior partner. Research firearms laws in various states. A debate had broken out over the commercial viability of this new internet between two of the partners. Meanwhile, Robert Brown was worried about how he would find a combat shooting instructor who would work with a 13-year-old girl.